Hi guys, Papa Sam here with yet again another video. Today we're going to be just focusing on tips for every single class tier, specifically two. This is to help those who are new to Q Clash and want to get better. Without further ado, let's get into it. First tip for Ghost would be to cook grenades. Cooking grenades is one of the best things that you can do as Ghost or as a Ghost main. This is because you can do optimal damage and you can throw it and time it. And since grenades can bounce off of walls, you can also play that into your timing too. That's a little more complicated, but going back to the simpler stuff, timing your grenade can be done by holding down E. Some of you may have figured this out and just thought it was a glitch, but no. Timing your grenade is something that was intended. Grenades can do up to 60 damage, which is really important because that 60 damage could change the tide of a fight between you and a SHEILA or you and a Decker really quickly. My second tip for Ghost would have to be the fact that his ult is so overpowered. The best way to use his ult would be to not summon all three bombs at the same time, but to summon them differently. For example, after you use the first one, wait 2 to 3 seconds, then summon the next one, and then wait a little bit more to summon the next one. As long as that bar at the top of your screen does not run out and you still have missiles left, you can use them before that. Just realize while using Ghost ult that you cannot sprint. You can still move left and right, forward and jump, but you cannot sprint, nor can you throw grenades. My first tip for SHEILA would be probably to go for people who are lighter classes. For example, go after Reapers, go after Deckers, try your best to go after RACSALs and get rid of their turrets fast, and also go for Zedinas all the time, as much as possible. This will not only make it easier for you to kill people and get eliminations, it'll also increase your lifetime. You won't die to stupid things like maybe the entire team ganking you. Just always try to be an ambush type, so go for these main clashers: Zedina, Reaper, Decker, RACSAL. Those are your best bets. I would stay away from Ghosts and SHEILAs because those guys can be pretty devastating in like 1v1s, especially because if Ghost gets grenaded at you, it's all over. But first tip, done. Second tip on SHEILA would be to always use her ult as quickly as possible and in as big as groups as possible. Don't just use it on solo people. You can do that, but it's not the best thing. Use as much as possible and in as big as group possible. This is because SHEILA does so much damage a lot of the times that she can charge her ult extremely fast. My first tip with Decker would have to be the fact that you need to learn how to aim, and you shouldn't rely on right click. You shouldn't rely on his fan fire. Learn how to aim. That's the #1 first tip. My second tip for Decker would be using his cloak wisely. With his cloak, it's freaking the most perfect thing. Granted, there's a 9-second gap between each time you can cloak after you've used it. That's not bad. 9 seconds, and then after that you get to cloak for 10 seconds. That's not bad at all. But use it wisely. Use it to get behind enemy defenses. Use it to sneak away from enemy defenses. You can use it for just about anything. You can use it to sneak into a RACSAL's bubble and ult it, so his turret and the bubble are kind of, they don't work at the time. Use his cloak wisely. Use in situations where you're low at health. Use in situations where you probably have been discovered. They cannot see you at all unless they hit you with AoE, which probably isn't going to happen all the time since you can be smart with it. My first tip with CYBORG would have to be using rockets. You always want to use rockets on SHEILAs. You don't really have a need to use them on anything else unless you're really just trying to annoy people, from a distance. But always use it on SHEILAs. This is because SHEILA's like your biggest threat since she does up to 80 damage per shot if it's all accurate. Use them on SHEILAs. It's really easy. You will most likely always kill them since they're so close to you. And in the coming update, you'll be able to even use them then, but that's a different story. Anyway, use rockets on SHEILAs. Reserve them for SHEILAs. Don't try to use them on anyone else, unless it's absolutely necessary. My second tip for CYBORG would be to use how he uses ult. Whenever you use CYBORG's ult, it's kind of an iffy. There's a lot of times where you use it and no one will just walk into it, and then times where people will walk into it and you'll get like multiple eliminations. The best way to use CYBORG's ult in a lot of situations is just to use it as a cutoff, essentially. Or, in most cases, you'll see people using it as an area control, which isn't a bad idea because it's the best area control in the game since that's the highest DPS, and it punishes anybody who goes into it. There is not a single clasher who can walk through CYBORG's ult entirely without dying, even if they are overhealed. It's just too much damage. You can use this as area control on carts, you can use this as area control on payload maps like Castle Koth or Castle Payload and Blight Peak, Perch. You can even use this on control points. You wouldn't cover the entire control point, but you could definitely cover a good point of it to where your teammates could get back the advantage. And plus, whenever your teammates travel inside of it, it's harder to see them. Bonus tip: if someone is inside CYBORG ult or inside the part where the ults would be, they can't see it happening. They can only hear it happening. So if they don't know what's happening, or you're hiding behind something and they're inside of it, you could trick them and make them think you missed, and you could absolutely destroy the enemy team. CYBORG ult's just so good. My first tip for RACSAL is mainly to have your turret in good spots. To do this, learn from other players. Like literally, just watch where other people place their turrets, see if it's a good spot, see if it's not a good spot. Watch a lot of pro players. Look up Q-Clash YouTubers like me or BW, and see where we place our turrets. Just watch our videos, see where we place them. We place them in pretty good spots, I'd say. So yeah, just learn from others, or learn from your elders in this case, and then you'll find some pretty good turret spots. But yeah. Secondly, about RACSAL is that your turret is a very weak thing. It takes complete and utter damage up close. Someone could attack it from a mile away and they do the same damage as they right up in its face. With RACSAL, always distract people from your turret. This also goes along with the first tip, turret placement. Distraction and turret placement are the biggest things about RACSAL. Always take advantage of the enemy's incompetence. Place the turret somewhere where, it's out of sight, obviously, but then get in the enemy's face, distract them from the turret, give them a reason to not look at the turret. Like, maybe a fake push. Just make sure that you're distracting the enemy team, even if you have to die for it. Just keep them away from your turret. And if they find your turret, well, just move it to somewhere else. Okay, so, first tip, learn how to B-hop. My first tip for Sir Knight would have to be the fact that you always should have your shield out if your teammates are around you. Your entire job is to soak up damage, and a lot of you may not like that, but if you don't like it, you probably shouldn't be playing Sir Knight. But really, that 800 damage you soak up, that's a lot of damage. You saved probably like 5 teammates. You could have saved a SHEILA, a Sir Knight, and almost a CYBORG with all that damage you soaked up. That's a lot. Granted, your shield gets shredded in an instant, you just saved your teammates 800 damage. That's a lot of damage. And even if you like that's dumb, on top of the fact that you saved your teammates from that, you gained yourself a little bit of ult charge too. Yeah, it gives you a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. My second tip for Sir Knight is to always use your moves, like your Electro Ball, your Leap, your Sword. Always use that in groups. And you don't want to use it obviously when you're just trying to solo the enemy team. No, you want to use it when you're in a team fight, because that Electro Ball can hit as many people as are in the game that are near other players who have gotten hit by it. So you could do up to over 200 damage. You can hit as many people as are nearby that Electro Ball and the person who got hit by it. You can hit everyone in the enemy team. There's no limit to how many people you can hit. And 45 damage is a lot for everyone. QF has a different damage system than most games, obviously related to Overwatch. That's a lot of damage, especially when it hits everybody. So just always use your AoE skills, which every single skill versus AoE. Always use them just to affect the enemy team as much as possible. First tip is Reaper. Always place poison fields on turrets, under your feet, or in pathways where people have to cross them to get to somewhere. This is because poison is really powerful. Trust me, it does. It stays around. I'm pretty sure poison sticks around on you for like 10 seconds. So that's 40 damage buildup. That's 40 damage buildup. So it's going to do 40 damage in the end. There's no way to shorten poison, and there's no way to stop it. So if they get hit by it, they're taking 40 damage 100%. That adds up. So, for example, if you were to headshot somebody like a ghost, and then say it was a charge headshot or just a poison headshot, you just killed that ghost. Unless there's a negative nearby, which there probably isn't. So that ghost is gone. Poisoning also works with charge shots, so remember, if you hold in a shot for 3 seconds, it becomes a charge shot. It does AoE damage. And it poisons, too, so it's pretty powerful. My second tip is teleportation. Reaper's teleport is one of the best escapes in the game. Whenever you go to an area and you're about to snipe, look around you. Look for places you can teleport to get away whenever you're in a sticky situation. Reaper is horrible at close combat. Trust me, she is. She doesn't have her scythe anymore, so she can't really deal with someone up in her face. So remember, know where you can teleport and know when to teleport. Don't teleport too late. Don't teleport too early. It'll be bad in both situations. Last 2 tips of the day, let's make them quick. First off, with Selena, always utilize her fly. There's not a single time where you shouldn't be flying. Use fly as often as possible, and remember to use it to get elevation or to get distance. Never use it just randomly. Use it to get elevation or distance. Trust me, these things will help you. Also, secondary tip with flying and her wings, whenever someone is attacking you, don't leap straight up. That's not going to help you at all. Always try to leap away from the direction. My second tip for Selena is, ever since her got nerfed pretty badly, I'd say, but it's okay now, you only should ever be using your ult in 2 situations. The first situation you should be using your ult in is to heal one specific teammate and uber the mess out of them so they don't die. This is probably going to be a CYBORG or a Sir Knight. The second situation you would do it in is where your entire enemy team or your entire friendly team happen to be low, and you just want to use it to heal all of them up for the next fight. That, guys, that's 2 tips for every clasher. I really hope it was helpful, really hope you enjoyed. If you liked it, subscribe, like. Otherwise, Papa Santa out, keep clashing.